What is up, YouTube? What is up? It's your boy, the Travel Trucker, man. We back with another video, man. If you're new to the channel, I like to travel and talk about the trucking industry. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, and just come and hang with me for the day, man. Alright guys, on today's episode, we're out here at the Air Force Armament Museum over here at Eglin Air Force Base, man. We're just hanging out. And on today's episode, I'm gonna talk to y'all about how my old trucking company stole over $3,000 from me, and I ended up getting it back. But the basis of it is they tried to act like they didn't know they was doing it. So we're gonna go around to this museum, check it out, man. And once we get done checking out the museum, because this is part of the channel, we travel and we go see stuff, I'm gonna tell y'all the story about how my old trucking company took $3,000 from me and I got it back. And this right here, guys, is the Hound Dog missile. Decommissioned in the 70s. It could travel up to 600 miles once it was dropped. And that's what it looked like, man. It had its own engine on it. Go check what else out they got. All right, guys, we at the PX Exchange, whatever you want to call it, same thing. They had some nice guns and shoes, man. They had an 86 inch for $750. I'm not sure, man. I got to get up out of it if I spend some money I don't need to be spending. Yeah. Let's go see what else the PX got to offer. All right, this right here is what base housing used to be. All these right here used to be base housing homes. They tore them all down now. Now they just abandoned roads and stuff. But it used to be base housing. All this right here, man, it's crazy. And this is the new base housing. Check that out. Shoot. Alright, guys, we still out here on base. Came out here by the water right quick, man. Hey, man, I wanted to have a little story time with Josh, man. Tell you about my last trucking company I worked for. And, well, second to last trucking company I worked for. And how they took $3,000 from me in tax money that they wasn't supposed to. So the company I was working for was based out of Alabama, and I was a Florida resident. So I'm working with them. I'm probably about a year or so in, year and a half in. Nah, about 18 months in. And, you know, I'm paying federal taxes and their state taxes. Now, I'm not thinking of another because I'm like, okay, the trucking company's based out of Alabama, so, you know, ooh. Long story short, I go to do my taxes. My accountant well, the people doing my taxes on base called me. He said, hey, man, you need to be getting a refund from the state of Alabama. You need to get all your tax returns from the state of Alabama. You shouldn't have been paying them taxes anyway. I said, what you mean? I say, when I first started with this company, the terminal manager said, no, I have to pay Alabama taxes because that's where they're based out of. It don't matter if I'm a Florida resident. I didn't think nothing of it. Tell me why this terminal manager was incorrect and he was ignorant and he didn't know what the hell he was talking about, which as time went on, I seen he was full of shit the whole time. And the company I was also working for, they was really a subsidiary of a company out of Ohio. So the accountant's telling me, hey, if you work, it's pretty much for most states, but between Alabama and Florida, they have a reciprocity of when it comes to taxes. He said, hey, if your home company is based out of Alabama, but you drive more than 100 miles from a brick and mortar physical location, you would consider over the road and you should be paying taxes based off a Florida resident. I say, explain more. He said, well, you're not considered a local driver if you drive more than 100 miles outside of the base and you stay out overnight, and you're not considered a regional driver. When it comes to tax law, there is no such thing as a regional driver. You're either a local driver or you're an OTR, over the road driver. And considering I drove 100 miles outside from the base and I stayed overnight in the truck, I was considered an OTR driver even though I was regional. So I fact check what he's saying. Sure enough, I pull up the tax law in the tax book, and they had a provision for taxes for an over-the-road truck driver. Sure enough, I should have been paying Florida taxes. Florida does not have state taxes. So I go and tell my terminal manager, I say, hey, man, you need to stop taking Alabama taxes out my check. You're not supposed to be doing it. Oh, no, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Da, 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 da. He's steady going. So I go above him. I call his boss. I cuss him out. I say, hey, man, you got this dude in position as terminal manager. He don't even know how to even do payroll correctly. He started arguing with me. I told him to stop taking them Alabama taxes out my check, and he ain't listening. I'm telling you, Mr. George, stop taking taxes out for Alabama out my check. So he don't fight it. He like, oh, call the accountant. I called the accountant up in Ohio. Tell me why the accountant for this $1 million trucking company, he didn't even know that. He did not know that you was not supposed to be paying Alabama tax as a Florida resident, as an OTR truck driver. How does the accountant, terminal manager, and president of the company, one of the owners, not know that? Long story short, it turns out I was right. I called the state of Alabama. They got the money, but my trucking company didn't want me to do an amendment because they was embarrassed. They said, hey, don't go tell Alabama we was taking the taxes out because we don't want them to audit us. We just gonna cut you a check for $3,000 plus a little extra on top. We're gonna cut you a check for $3,250. I said, so y'all gonna give me $3,250 cash? No tax? He said, yeah, we're gonna cut you a check for $3,250. I say, bet, run it. So, long story short, they overnighted me a check with $3,200 FedEx. I got $3,000 back, and Alabama has kept that tax money. Moving forward, I did not have the money coming out my check anymore. So if you're a truck driver working for these trucking companies, you need to look up your tax law and see which states reciprocate with each other as far as tax deductions. Now, some states outside of Alabama, Oklahoma, you may have to pay taxes in that state. You need to read between the understanding between each state as far as taxes being withheld for an over-the-road truck driver. So being out from Florida, I don't have state taxes. So I was only supposed to pay federal the whole time. So that is the story, how the trucking company was stealing money from me. Not literally stealing, but they was taking money from me that it was not supposed to, and nobody caught it from the top to the bottom, which means they was lazy and ignorant and was not educated on a lot of things. How does somebody being there 18 months catch that? They had other drivers from Florida who had been there for years. I think somebody been there for 8 years, 10 years. He never caught it. I helped him out amongst other drivers from Florida about the state taxes being taken out as a Florida resident for Alabama Trucking Company. So whenever you start these jobs, man, make sure you checking, because these people don't know it all, man. They ain't no different than me and you or whatever. So you gotta understand that These people that's trying to make money, man, they can care less about what's coming out your paycheck. If you don't catch it, they not finna say nothing. That's today's message, man. But that's it, man. We finna get off base, head home. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Eglin Air Force Base, shout out with y'all. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for allowing me on y'all base. And I'll see y'all on the next one.